Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today I'm participating in the Rustic Wednesday but on a Saturday collaboration, which is hosted by my friends Shelly from Repurpose My Way and Dawn from Shabby Meets Bling. I'm going to be doing some rustic, shabby chic Halloween DIYs. Now, before we get started on the first one, I just had to share this because I never see anything with my name on it, especially spelt the same way, and I couldn't pass this up, and you know what? I did try it and it's great. I'm snacking on it while I'm doing my DIYs. Now, DIY number one is just one of these carvable pumpkins that you can get at Hobby Lobby or Michael's, and I am going to be making a jack-o'-lantern face. Now, I had found this really cute jack-o'-lantern on Pinterest, and I'm copying the way the face looks. And I just hand drew this on here. And I'm just going to place it, I think, right here. I did cut it out with my X-Acto knife. I didn't show it on here because I kind of had to hold it close. I didn't want to cut myself by trying to do it on camera. But it was really simple. This is really thin on this one here. This one is actually from Michael's. But I don't like it so smooth. I want to get it... I know I can probably put like baking soda or something else with some Mod Podge and put on there, even some sand or something to give it some texture. But I'm going to use cheesecloth. And I'm going to Mod Podge this on over the whole pumpkin, and I might have to do it a couple times. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get some of this on here. Like I said, I'm just putting the cheesecloth on. I'll cut it around the stem afterwards. Just going to make sure I put lots of Mod Podge on. And I will be cutting out the eyes and the mouth afterwards. You see I did all that there. And I'm kind of liking how some of this overlaid when I put another layer on. So I'm going to take some of this cheesecloth and just kind of bunch it up kind of like this. And do a whole bunch of pieces like this around the pumpkin. Just to give it a little bit more texture. Alright, you can see I've done a lot more on here to give it some more texture. I like the way this looks. And when it dries, I'm going to be painting it. Alright, so it is dry now, and I'm just taking my Waverly chalk paint in the color Plaster, which is my favorite color to use. I'm going to paint the pumpkin. And I have them all painted. I did 2 coats. Now the stem, I like to put a real stem on, but unfortunately I don't have a huge big one that's going to be really long for what I want to do. So I just made a hole in here, and I'm taking my wire, and I'm going to take some aluminum foil, and I'm just going to make my shape of my stem, and I will be putting clay over this. So I want this to kind of make like a hook looking, so I think this is going to work. I need just a little bit more foil down here. There we go. All right, now I'm just going to take my Crayola Model Magic clay that I like to use, and I'm going to roll out a piece here, and then just start putting it over the aluminum foil. Now that I have it done, what I've also wanted to do is make it look more realistic, and I'm just taking some of that clay and I'm just making some like little snakes here, and I'm just going to be putting these on like so. I'm going to press it down a little bit. Let's go ahead and get another one on. All right, I think this looks pretty good, but I am going to be touching this up just a little bit. Now what I'm doing is I'm just taking the skewer here and pushing it in and just kind of smoothing everything around. And I'm also using a little bit of water. I'm going to use my fingers also. And this is just blending in those little snake pieces that I put on there. And I think it's giving it the ridges. I think that makes it look more realistic. All right, so now everything is dry. I'm taking my hammered iron and I'm going in all the little creases here of the pumpkin. I'm just wetting it down. Let's get a little bit more on there. Go through all these creases. And then I'm taking a damp piece of paper towel and just blending it in. This is really hard to do since I have all that texture on there. I was just going to use my paper towel, but it's just not working. That's why I'm using my paintbrush instead. I'm going to do this around all the little crevices that are on the pumpkin here for all the sections. Okay, so I got the back and the little bit of the side done. I'm going to show you a little bit more here on the front. You can see how it's looking. And after I get all this done, I'm going to go in and do some other little sections, just kind of do some little splotches here and there with the hammered gray. All right, so here's how it turned out. And you can see that the stem is looking really nice on here, but it does need to be painted. I'm going to take my melted chocolate color and paint it with that. Just want to make sure I get all this white covered. It might take a couple of coats. All right, now while it's still wet, I'm going to take that hammered iron and I'm going to go in and try to highlight all these ridges that I made. And I'll also take some more of that melted chocolate and try to blend it in a little bit. I also decided to take some spiced tan just to lighten up some more spots. As you can see, this looks really nice. So I'm going to continue to do this and let it dry, but I'm not going to show you what it looks like just yet. That will be more at the end. But I think this is looking really good on the stem. All right, let's get on to DIY number 2. And this one is actually going to be part of the first one that I did with a pumpkin. So I have this witch's hat that I got from Temu, and I love this orange spiderwebby lace, but I don't want to use it on here. And this is just hot glued on, but I had to be very careful not to rip the material. This is really thin. And I just need to heat up this a little bit with my heat gun, and I'll be able to get that off. And if it doesn't all come off, that's okay, because I'm going to be covering it up. And I'm going to use this as the back of the hat since that seam is right there. I'm also going to add some more details around the brim here. All right, now I got this cool lace, and they also have some Halloween looking one too. They have it at Michael's, and they're $9.99, but they're half off. And I think this looks shabby chic here for Halloween. And I'm not going to use all of these. I'm just going to pick a few pieces that I want to use. But I think this is really nice how they have all these different pieces that you can get. And I think it's like 20 some pieces. All right, the first thing I want to do is I'm taking this creepy fabric that I've had for a long time. It's in a creamy color, and I think this is perfect. I'm just going to cut this like so. And I'm going to be putting this around the hat here at the bottom. Just like this. And I'm going to tie it off. Just going to tie it off. I'm not going to hot glue it. I'm going to wrap it around twice because it's really long. And I want to keep these ends because it's going to look nice. I'm going to be having this hang over the brim a little bit, plus all the ribbon and lace that I'm going to pick out from that bunch. Now I will be hot gluing the ribbon and the lace to the creepy fabric. All right, so here's the pieces that I'm going to do. I'm just going to cut everything in half. I'm only going to use 1/2 of it so I can save the other pieces for another project. Just go ahead and get everything cut in half. I'm just going to lay them all out here. All right, so this is what I'm going to use. And I'm just going to twist this up and glue it on to here on actually the top. I did use some wire to attach all my ribbons and lace together. So I'm just going to tuck it in right there. And I also have some leaves and some other pieces from some picks that I want to put in here. Just kind of cut this up just a little bit. There we go. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get the leaves hot glued on. Make sure they stay on there. And let me grab a few more pieces. I have this little feathery looking piece here, some berries. These are all off of other picks. I'll cut this down a little bit. I think I'm going to glue it right there. And I want to use these berries in here too, so let's get them hot glued on. We'll put one right there. Let's cut this piece off, it's a little too big. And put that one about right there. And I have this little 3 berries that came off of another pick. And I love this pick here. I'm going to take a few things off of here. Just going to kind of cut it right there. And I want one of these little rusty stars. I actually might use 2 of them in here. I'm just going to twist these around a little bit, give them some more detail so they're not just straight. And I'm going to tuck it in about right there. Right, so I have all that stuff glued in. I also have this other little pick with this pit berries that I'm going to pull apart. And I'm going to stick these 3 pieces in. I also have these other little pick I cut apart that kind of reminds me of pine cones. I'm going to tack those in here. All right, so this is how my hat is looking now. I'm actually going to put this on my jack-o'-lantern, but you can also display this by itself. All right, DIY number 3 is going to be one of these Dollar Tree bats. Now, these aren't the most prettiest looking things, but I thought I could take all of this little tinsel off and do something different with it. And I do save all my tinsel. And I did like this orange colored tinsel because I thought I could use it down the road sometime. I have a lot of the black tinsel. Now this is just glued on here, so I'm just ripping off all these individual pieces. And then I need to figure out how to get these off of the wing area. Well, you know what? I didn't realize it, but these come off. That's pretty neat. That's how you get it off. I won't be putting these back on, but I will save them because they are the shape of a bat wing and I might be able to use them for something else. So let me get all this tinsel off and then we can get started making this looking shabby chic. We're doing a shabby chic bat. All right, so I'm going to take some of this burlap and I'm just going to hot glue it on here. So his body is going to be burlap. Just kind kind of go around the outline here. Get this all pressed down, and then I will cut around the edges and get it all trimmed up. I'm actually going to put them on the back side too, kind of wrap it around when I hot glue it. Now that that is done, I've taken some lightweight cardboard and I'm having all these little sections by themselves. I'm going to use some jute and I'm going to use some lace. So I'm just going to hot glue this jute on here. This one's the most time consuming. I've already done the other wing and it does take quite a long time to do the jute. But the lace is really easy to do. Alright, so I almost have this one done. Let's go ahead and wrap it around. It gets a little faster when you get to the end here. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get this one finished up, and then I'm going to do one more. Alright, I have my 2 pieces with my jute, and the other 2 pieces is going to get this lace. So I'm just going to cut this off right here. And I'm going to put some hot glue just in a little section first. There we go. Flip it over and get the rest of it glued down. Then I will be trimming around here. And all of this is going to get glued, you know, wrapping it on the back side. Alright, now they are all done. I'm just going to hot glue the pieces on. I'm going to do this one first. So I'm trying to figure out what pattern I want to do. What's going to overlay on top of the other one. I think I'll do it this way. Let's go ahead and get this one over here. You know, this piece almost kind of reminds me of the Star Trek emblem on their uniforms. And get this last one on. I'm going to finish up the other side, and I just took some black paint and I got, make that burlap look a little bit darker. I don't want black all the way. I'm just going to kind of distress this up a little bit with black paint over the jute, and I'm even going to put it on the lace part too. Now I could leave it just like this, but I want to do just a little bit more to it. And what I'm going to do is take some more of that jute and I'm going to outline each piece here. So I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of the bat finished up, and then we're on to the next stage. I could leave it just the way it was, but I'm trying to make this coordinate with the witch hat that I did because that's going on the pumpkin, and I'm going to display these both together. So I also have some of that creepy fabric that I used from the witch hat, stuck it on here. I also have some raffia that I'm just going to tie a knot in and pull the pieces apart and get them all bunched up here so it's not perfectly straight. I'm going to go ahead and hot glue that on here. And I also have these little berries that's from another pick. And I'm going to use some of these berries that I used on the hat, just smaller pieces. Use about 3 different sections here. Get another one cut off. They're about right there. Okay, and the last one. And I also want to add one of these little things that kind of remind me of pumpkins, a little bit of the pip berries. Just one little piece of pip berry and the little pumpkin looking thingy. Okay. Now, I was going to leave it like that, but I want some eyes. So I just had some of these brown buttons, and I had those little half pearl sticky things that I just stuck in the middle, and I'm just going to hot glue the eyes on. I think this will look really cute. All right, that's going to do it for the bat. Now, let's see how the jack-o'-lantern without the witch hat and the bat looks like. So I did this on my mantle, but I'm going to be moving the bat and adding the hat. And here is how it looks on my mantle. And here's how it looks with some fairy lights and a candle inside. So this is going to look really nice at nighttime here in my family room. All right, my sweet friends, that's going to do it for the video today. I hope that you enjoyed it, and please be sure to check out everybody's video. I have the playlist link down below in my description box, along with Shelly and Dawn's channel links. I want to wish everybody a very wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.